You want to know a sign that somebody about to give somebody a big beat down? Is when this
castle in France
shows up
to the Chateau de Chambord, where a dash of whimsy collide. It was a statement piece by King Francois I. Despite its size, Chambord was never fully furnished, leading some to speculate it was always meant more for show.
And guess what just deployed?
At the heart of Chambord's architectural enigma is
the restoration project on the bell towers.
They only do two things:
announces the hour
and kill tanks, and they are extremely good at it.
And now if this here geospatial satellite telemetry don't knock your socks off, I don't know what else will. What more proof could anyone need? Okay, so I feel like maybe I wasn't quite as clear as I could have been about what I was getting at with the Chambord Castle here. To be clear, this castle is a couple hundred years old. And now if the Chambord Castle is built in 1500s, and I'm saying that the entire thing is one giant ground vibration transmission system terminal component. But according to what we believe in science, no one invented that until Nikola Tesla, 1890 to 1900, and then built the first one with Wardenclyffe in 1902, and that got taken down in 1908. But this castle is clearly related to ground vibrations related to the Great Pyramid. I mean, it's 500 years old. Do you think it's kind of weird that Tesla spent a stint in France before coming to America to work for Edison?
You see it?
Okay.
Very nice. We have a machine downstairs that can actually program. So this is playing the bells manually. You can see those rods that I spoke of down below coming through the floor. For example, this is the smallest bell right here. Kind of like a ship's bell, huh? And then this is the largest bell, 2 octaves lower. Okay, you want to hear the bells ring?
Sure.
Okay, so I'm going to contact John Zach. Hey, John. We are in the bell tower. Everyone is anxious to hear the bell. So why don't you do, like for a big mass or something for about 30 seconds. Here we go. Okay, thank you.
A month for my salary against $10. Success advice.
Get ready. Let's them sing it. So, what'd you think? Now, it just so happens that all of these bells are given titles of the Blessed Virgin Mary. The bells that sound every 15 minutes is Mary of the Assumption and Mary of the Seven Dolours. Okay, now, what's interesting is this bell, named after Mary of the Annunciation, announces the hour. See how they thought this all out? So it's pretty amazing. You just never see anything like this.
I'm going to briefly explain Nikola Tesla's idea for keeping a wireless thumb on ships at sea. It's an idea of his that sets up a global resonant grid. Have the Earth, and you're going to put a transmitter on top and a transmitter at the equator. You may want to have another transmitter polar opposite, but it might not entirely be necessary. If this transmitter sends out wave pulses going around the world this way to be reconverged at the bottom here, and then they continue going past around. They go back. If the wave frequency or wavelength is resonant to the polar circumference of the Earth, it will set up standing waves across the whole globe, going north to south. Then, if you have a pyramid on the equator, similarly sends waves this way. They continue around the Earth that way and come back. It'll set up a longitude and latitude grid of standing waves going this way and standing waves going this way. The grid that comes across here, any ship, let's say we have a Tesla coil on the ship that's connected into the water anywhere on the Earth, let's say longitude and latitude, whatever this coil up here is tuned to, the specific chosen L2C2 will determine what frequencies this coil resonates at and what will allow signals to go up, just like an acoustic Helmholtz resonator does. Because of the inductance and the specific capacitance, certain frequencies will resonate with it and have easy passage up into the collector, fill up with charges around the top, and then go back out, and then come back up. So charges will oscillate up and down in the Tesla coil on the ship, and depending on where you're at on the Earth, you will have a different amplitude or wave packet, or depending on the characteristics of these chosen waves, this coil will resonate to the combination of the two waves in a very specific way to wherever it is on the planet. Additionally, different wave packets can be sent out such that you can encode information in there so that wherever you're at, you can determine your location on the Earth.
Nice. Okay. Very nice.
As the wave expands from the point source, the intensity or the energy density anywhere on the surface area gets so large so fast because the radius is squared in this surface area. The intensity dramatically reduces at a rate of r squared. The SOFAR channel, this is known as cylindrical expansion versus the spherical dispersion. This is cylindrical dispersion because all the energy that would bounce up or down, it's reflected back into this thickness of the cylinder. The energy is contained within the surface area of the cylinder. The energy available in the surface of this wave is 2 pi times the height times the radius. The intensity radius times larger. Decrease in power loss by trapping the wave in cylindrical wave expansion, the SOFAR waveguide channel. We know this is a thing because whales use this method to communicate with each other around the world. Their songs can travel around the whole world. This is very coveted information during the time of Tesla for submarine warfare.
Kind of like a ship's bell, huh?
Ship bells. Cup on the ear. You just drop your bell on a line. If it's resonant to any acoustic wave going through the water, it'll just slowly keep building up and building up. You'll just listen to which bell. The beat frequency will tell you where you're located. And I find it very interesting. There's so much lore behind the acoustic ripples on the back of this alligator's neck. You see that? That's what I'm talking about here. Acoustics applied to the ground and even water, creating standing waves and different ripples and different interference patterns. Each of the bell towers can act like a specific transmitter. Individually, they don't do much, but when you culminate all the waves of each of them together, you get incredible outcomes. Everything from targeted earthquakes to potential Havana syndrome sonic weapon technology that no one can seem to explain where it's coming from. Wonder where it's coming from.
Cap. No way. Bullshit. Absolutely not. I wrote back and said, oh, holy shit, what the fuck?
These things are, as our illustrious Congresswoman says, a sign from God. God is sending us signals that America needs to repent.
You don't repent and pay tribute to your nearest king, God won't make your lands bountiful or send an earthquake, or not even like a couple weeks before I start talking about this, and they're already out there claiming
If you aren't capable of believing,
I think that's rude.
Especially up to level 5. So
You got one side telling you it's
Kiss my
God,
ass.
you got the other side telling you it's
I'm a member
nature,
of Congress.
neither of which you can do anything about.
Why would we?
It's really simple.
Our culture does not demand pyramid. There's just no reason to. We have no purpose for the pyramids or otherwise accoutrement to the pyramids.
You don't know what this technology I've been trying to teach everyone about is possible or capable of doing.
Listen, buddy, you don't need any pyramids.
I've seen the evidence.
Don't think about what comes after or what came before.
And we are going to
Bend your knees.
Needs to worry about our own country, and frankly,
Just keep consuming and consuming and consuming, and we can all dance on the grave of the planet later. Who gives a fuck? Drinking to the downfall of humanity.
Don't worry about it though. It's just nature.
It
God.
is being proven. It
Does
is.
that look like no fucking purpose for the pyramid to you?
I don't appreciate that type of language.
Ridiculous.
And if you ask me, all these crazy zealot news stations that keep making videos about all the UFO releases, and all these guys are just seemingly showing nothing.
What's the answer? Where's the video, Jeremy?
Yeah, that's part of the story, and I think I'm going to have to answer that at another time. But I will say this, is that there is more footage. So some people got to see portions of it within the intelligence community. There is a bigger story to tell.
They want you to think it's this kind of technology, it's some outrageous super sci-fi stuff, and not something as simple as just bell towers.
That absolute beast right there is made up of 4 M130.
This is a bell tower. Playing another day of sun.
I unlocked some sort of superpower.
There are technologies at the South Pole Station that people can't even consider that exist on this planet.
But first they'll make sure you think it's Tesla towers, so they can then call you crazy.
Physically held a key that opened every single door in the facility. I had complete access to every compartment they manufactured. Directed energy weapons systems is something that people need to get in their vocabulary fast. The ice cube neutrino detector.
Just bell towers, directed energy weapons, and they're scaring us all with it too. So it's not the government, is it? Don't believe that. It is not lost in Antarctica, out of your reach. That's what they want you to believe.
What are you blowing the whistle on? Directed energy weapons system.
Bell towers
Simply has the capacity to transmit.
Directed energy
as presented for the
weapons.
The science that people can't even consider.